Let's bring in NewsNation contributor, Democratic strategist A. Scott Bolden, Republican strategist, radio talk show host Melik Abdul. So, Scott, makes sense to start with you. You've been around Democratic politics for a long time and party politics. And again, Lindy Lee's, she's been the outspoken one on this show and others. And she said the call was just way off today. Your take?
Well, I was on that call as well.
Okay.
And this wasn't a call where you were going to do a political autopsy. This was with the National Finance Committee, and it was the speakers, including the vice president, as well as the vice president, Democratic nominee, were on, and then leaders of the Finance Committee, who were essentially talking about, sure, they ran a great campaign, they raised $1 billion, but we need to stay in this fight. And while we're very disappointed with the numbers and the turnout and the results, if you will, this is not the time to be depressed and walk away from the fight, because we've got another 2 to 4 years that we've got to get ready for.
You think they get it, Scott? You think they understand what happened? That you don't think it was her point was like they're missing the boat. They're self-congratulatory. They just don't, they just almost like they're clueless to the situation. But you don't think that?
No, I think that Democrats are reeling, quite frankly, and we haven't gotten to acceptance yet, because you got 10 levels of grief.
Right.
But my point is, this call was not the autopsy call where you say this is what went right or wrong. This was it was a pep talk to keep folks focused and geared up and say, we're going to do it again and let's stay focused. And that was the purpose of the call. I agree with Lindy that, hey, listen, somebody's got to do an autopsy report, because every race is different. But I'm not sure this particular call was the call to do that. There were about 200 or 300 people on the call, I think, from what I could tell.
Okay.
But this was not that call. There will be those calls, and there will be much work to be done, for sure.
Interesting perspective from both of you. Malik, before we pull you in on this, there have been autopsies, right, that have been done. I mean, a bunch of the Harris advisors are on this podcast. We played one clip last hour from General O'Malley Dillon, who ran the campaign. I have another one now, Malik, from Stephanie Cutter, trying to figure out these folks who were involved directly in running the campaign. What went wrong? Should she have gone on Joe Rogan? Should they have spent their money differently? Separated from Biden more? Anyway, here's Stephanie Cutter. Listen.
She was ready, willing to go on Joe Rogan. Would it have changed anything? It would have been it would have broken through, not because of the conversation with Joe Rogan, but because the fact that she was doing it. And that was really the benefit of it. Will she do it sometime in the future? Maybe. Who knows? But it, didn't ultimately impact the outcome one way or the other.
Oh, hindsight. Malik, looking in from your point of view, as a Republican on the Democrats, you say what?
I think what you're hearing is a continued resistance, or just a real effort, what seems to be just not to read the tea leaves. When you have people like Bernie Sanders and many other independents and many other Democrats who've kind of done this autopsy, they've been attacked for it. And so what Democrats have been able to lean in on is that if Kamala Harris lost, they say, first of all, that she won she ran a flawless campaign, which she didn't. But they also say that if she was victimized by racism or sexism or misogyny, they haven't done a real autopsy. And even when you've heard instances where people have tried to give analysis and say, well, hey, this is what people are saying. The people are saying is that these are the reasons that they voted for Donald Trump. The response from many Democrats is, well, we don't believe that. It's their effort to uphold white supremacy and any number of things. So that autopsy in earnest, we assume will happen. But I just remember what happened in 2016. If you listen to many Democrats, what happened in 2016 was that Donald Trump colluded with Russia to steal the election. Not that Hillary Clinton was just a bad candidate.
Well, this time around, Scott, it's interesting you look at Trump's numbers, right? There's a favorability poll that came out, or favorability ratings in numbers from Emerson College that show that he is being looked upon more favorably by the electorate, according to these numbers, now than he was pre-election. I guess in one respect, you say, well, that's no surprise. There's kind of a honeymoon period, certainly even early in the administration. But I think Trump is kind of, I guess, a unique figure in American politics that I wasn't sure whether the numbers would go up or down. But are Democrats, do they know why Trump won and why he's maybe more popular now in many ways, certainly, than he was the first two times he ran, it seems?
Well, I've thought a lot about this, and I spent a lot of money on this campaign. And so I'll give you an autopsy, right? Trump won, right? We did run a great campaign for 100 days. We did spend $1 billion. We did have a better ground game. That tells me that the issues we focused on, you know, the reproductive rights and democracy, while the majority of voters who elected Donald Trump and voted for Donald Trump were focused on the economy and the border. And we didn't do enough messaging on those bread and butter issues because we misread that electorate. We believe that democracy and reproductive rights would be enough. Moderate Republicans would come out and vote against the character and the corruption and criminality of Donald Trump. And you know what? We were wrong because I thought the same thing, and we were wrong about that. So the autopsy is, okay, we did all these things right, but we got the issues wrong. How did we get it wrong? How did we misread that electorate?
Right.
And how do we fix that? Because every race is different. You can only take so much from each race.
So you brought up the border. Let's finish on that because we've had news today, Malik. We've been talking about Tom Homan, the incoming border czar down there in Texas, meeting with Governor Abbott. They're still there. They've had a number of events today. You know, one of the interesting things I noticed earlier is that, and there's Homan. This is a live picture as he's speaking again to the troops down there, so to speak. This plan for mass deportations, controversial. We talked about it back and forth. That, I saw some numbers today, is relatively popular as well. It's like 60-40 or almost. What do you make of that, Malik?
Oh, you're seeing that a number of Donald Trump had the benefit of being president of the United States before. So you are seeing that he's doing things different this time around. What you're also noticing, and I would probably argue it's because of Susie Wiles, it's a much more disciplined campaign. Donald Trump, of course, is going to go off on his own. But the campaign itself, it's been disciplined. And so you're seeing people, even during the campaign, while they were screaming, immigration is an issue for us, Scott is absolutely right. Democrats were more so focused on the cultural issues such as abortion and trans rights. And that's just not where the electorate was. And the last time we were on this show together, I suggested that people would look at policy more so than personality, or in that point, I think I probably used the word character. Well, people actually voted on policy more so than they did character this time around. So, Scott, you're right.
We're, oh man, look at Scott. I know what
knew he was going to say it.
Yeah, you were waiting for it. You were waiting for it.
I knew it.
He got towards the end of the interview now, in fairness, but then he said, you know what, I'm going to throw this in. Thank you, Malik. Thank you, Scott. Always a good panel having the two of you on together.